Welcome. Let's start seated with our legs bent and our hands behind us on the floor. Keep the arms straight. Let's lift the chest and then relax it down. Roll the shoulders back, then let them roll forward. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, opening the chest, and we'll probably feel the stretch down the front of our arm into our bicep as well. I've got my fingers facing forward, but you could have them any direction. Last one. And then let's have the soles of the feet together, quite far away, so it's more a diamond shape with the legs, and fold forward. Just let the back round, let your head relax down towards your feet. Stretching our hips in external rotation, so our side glutes, a little bit like pigeon stretch or cross legs, but we also have a nice rounding through the spine. Not a lot of effort required here, just try and breathe and soften. And then let's come up tall, extend one leg out the front straight, other leg is bent and crosses over, foot on the floor. Hug the bent leg with the opposite arm and twist around, looking over that back shoulder. We can have our hand on the floor to help us sit up tall. Think of lengthening on the inhale, twisting and hugging that knee closer on the exhale. Stretching the hip and back muscles. And then let's release our twist. Hold on to that bent leg behind the knee and roll to the floor. Let's hug that leg in and then release. Hug and release. Use your arms to draw that knee as close as you can. That knee lines up with the shoulder as we draw it towards our torso. Really try and relax your abdominals, coming into that deep hip flexion. Sometimes we're tensing too much there. Now let's keep the knee close and extend and bend at the knee. Extend and bend. Just get the leg as straight as you can while keeping the knee hugged in. So notice the thigh isn't really moving, just extending from the knee. Big hamstring stretch, definitely, but we still have that hip stretch as well. Last one. Now keep the leg bent, use the opposite hand to take it across the body into a twist. Extend the other arm out straight along the floor and keep both shoulders down. Twisting through the back as much as you can. Maybe your foot touches the floor when you twist, but probably not your knee. Breathe and keep the upper body as relaxed as you can. Slowly come back to the center, and let's start with our knee hug on the other leg. Hands behind the knee, draw the knee as close as you can and release. Draw it in, let it move away. Try and use your arms to pull in as much as you can, leaving your abdominals and your hip muscles relaxed, almost like the leg is passive. We're also lengthening through our spine just by being on the floor. On the next one, keep the knee hugged in, extend from the knee, and then bend. Straightening and bending. That doesn't mean your leg has to get completely straight. Get it as straight as you can while keeping the thigh in the same spot. One more. Then we'll keep the leg bent, use the opposite hand to take it across the body into a twist. Keep both shoulders down, gently press that leg towards the floor. If you feel you need to adjust your hips to one side or adjust that other leg, that's fine. Enjoy the stretch, twisting through your back. You might feel upper back, lower back, hip, or all of them. And then come back to the center, roll up to a seated position, cross the leg over for our seated twist. Use your opposite arm to hug that bent leg close to your torso and twist around looking over the opposite shoulder. To increase the hip stretch, draw the leg closer or twist through your waist to increase the rotation. And then let's release the twist. Bring the soles of the feet together for butterfly stretch. This time we've got the feet really close to the hips, stretching our inner thighs. We can press one leg down then the other. We can stay vertical or fold forward. Find your variation where you're stretching the inner thighs. And these kind of stretches where we're doing the same shape with both legs will often really highlight our asymmetries. We are all a little bit asymmetrical, don't stress about it. Now let's come up tall, legs bent, hands behind. Now this time let's lift the chest and the hips and then come back down. Lift and lower. So this is a little bit more intense version of the one we started with today. Really focus on lifting your chest, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Even though we're doing a hip press as well, our focus is the shoulder and chest stretch. And this is called tabletop in yoga, a little bit different to our tabletop in Pilates. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. And then let's come around into a kneeling position. Step one leg forward, doesn't matter which one. And we're going to lunge forward for a big hip flexor stretch. You can put your hands on your front leg. No tucking of the tailbone. We don't have to be super fussy. It's okay if our knee goes slightly forward of our ankle. I just want you to hang down. Get the biggest hip flexor stretch you can. Look straight ahead, but apart from that, just let gravity do the work, sinking into the hips. And then let's change sides. Step forward, lunge. Allow the lower back to extend a little bit, so no tucking. Unless it feels strong in your lower back, just allow that to happen today. Let the abs go. There are so many variations of every movement. Doesn't mean right or wrong, just different focus. And then release, coming onto hands and knees, tuck the toes, stretch back into down dog, hips high, chest pressing back. Now let's take one foot and wrap it around the ankle of the other. Now that foot that's on the floor, let's bend that leg and straighten. When you bend the leg, the heel will probably lift. When you straighten, you're trying to press it down. The other foot is wrapped around simply, so we've got all the weight, all the stretch going through the other leg and all our focus there. Keep our shoulders stretched, we keep our hips high as we stretch that one leg. One more. Now the leg that's wrapped around, let's bring that forward, fold it in front for pigeon stretch. Back knee down, slide the back leg away. Now you can stay on your hands as level 1, forearms as level 2, or come all the way down for level 3. The front knee is wide at the edge of the mat. The front foot is sitting at the front of the opposite hip. The main stretch is the back of our hip, basically our bum muscles on that front leg. Now we're going to add a quad stretch. So come up onto your hands and let's see if we can catch onto that back foot. Now you can catch onto it with the same arm or the opposite, and pulling the foot closer to your hips will increase the stretch. So will folding forward back down onto forearms or level 3. Breathe. This is quite an intense stretch for the front of the thigh. And then we're going to keep hold of our foot, whichever hand you've got, and come back up. Now let's hang on to the foot with both hands if we can. Press the foot back, roll the shoulders back for chest stretch. Now if 2 hands is too tough, that's okay. Just keep one hand on the floor and press back. Just remember which hand you've used so you can balance it out on the other side. Similar shoulder stretch to when we interlock the fingers behind, but we have a little bit more back bend here. And then let's release, hands on the floor. Come back to your down dog position, hips high, stretching the shoulders. Then we wrap the other leg around just behind the ankle, just to get it out of our focus, as we bend and straighten the other leg. The heel will probably lift when we bend. We're trying to get the heel down when we straighten, while keeping the hips high and keeping the shoulders stretching as well. A little bit of chin in, so you're looking up towards your thighs or even your belly. And even though it's a big shoulder stretch, think of your front ribs gently pulling in. One more, and then let's bring that wrapped leg forward into pigeon stretch. Hips down, hands, forearms, or all the way down. We can see the heel of our front foot is pretty much right at our hip bone on the opposite side. So our shin is on a diagonal, our knee is on the outside edge of the mat, stretching the back of the hip, our glutes in external rotation. You can always slide that back leg a little bit further away, relaxing the hips down. And even though the glute is our main focus, you might feel some back, inner thigh or hamstring stretch as well. Now let's add our quad stretch. Catch onto the foot, whichever arm you like. Pull the foot closer to increase the stretch, or fold forward to increase the stretch, which just pulls the foot closer anyway. So you can do the same arm or the opposite arm. Either way, as long as you draw your heel closer to your bum, you're going to increase the thigh stretch. And we still have our pigeon stretch happening the whole time as well. And then let's come up for our bow or chest stretch. Now we can have one hand or both. Either way, press the foot back, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back and together. You're using your leg strength to push back, the opposition of that to press the chest forward. When you're using one arm, make sure you're using the same pattern you did on the other side. Either the same or opposite arm to leg. Use the inhale to expand the chest. And then let's release. Make your way back into your down dog, hips high, get a really good shoulder stretch, and then just pedal or prance through the legs. We gave each leg an individual stretch, just move from one to the other. There's probably still a tiny asymmetry, I didn't fix it in one go. And then pop the knees down, stretch back into child's pose, whatever variation of child's pose you like. Let the head rest, the shoulders round forward, and the hips sink back onto the heels. Breathe into the belly, let the pelvic floor go, relax your jaw and your face. You can stay here as long as you like and build that body awareness. On some days you might need an extra minute here, but our 14-minute video is finished here.